ચાલો 11:09 થઈ ગઈ છે અને તમે 92 FM ઉપર ન્યૂ સાઉન્ડ રેડિયો પરથી ગુજરાતી પ્રોગ્રામ. ચાલો તમને જેમ આજે માહિતી આપી છે અને ઘણી આપણે એડવર્ટાઇઝમેન્ટ પણ કરી છે કે આપણી સાથે જોડાશે આપણી લાડલી દીકરી આર્ય ચાવડા અમદાવાદથી. તો હમણાં જ આપણે ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ કરવાના છે. તો જરૂર તમારે કંઈ પણ પ્રશ્ન કરવા હોય તો તમે જાણો છો કે આપણા સ્ટુડિયોનો નંબર છે 020847292292. ચાલો આપણે વેલકમ કરીએ આપણા વેરી પ્રોફાઉન્ડ અને લાડલી દીકરી આર્યા ચાવડા. આર્યા, ગુડ મોર્નિંગ, નમસ્તે, જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ. હાઉ આર યુ ધીસ મોર્નિંગ?
नमस्ते, जय श्री कृष्णा टू एवरीवन फ्रॉम इंडिया. मैं अच्छी हूँ, आप सब कैसे हो?
Everybody is very well and everybody is very eager to listen to you, Arya. And
Yes.
namaste to your mother as well, Rishika Ben Chawda. And I hope she is listening in as well in the background.
Yeah, she's tuned
Rishika
in.
Ben, thank you very much for joining and giving permission to Arya to join us up on New Sound Radio 92 FM. So, Arya, I am going to ask you a question. It's not a question. I'm going to ask you to
Okay.
introduce yourself to a vast number of our listeners listening in throughout the world.
So, I'm 14 years old and I'm currently an author and illustrator of 10 books. And UNESCO ने मेरी सभी books को publish किया है. And along with this, मैं एक speaker और heritage और environment की crusader भी हूँ. क्योंकि मैं प्रेजेंटेशन लेती हूँ प्रिजर्वेशन ऑफ कल्चरल हेरिटेज और सस्टेनेबल लिविंग केयरिंग फॉर क्लाइमेट पर स्कूल्स और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में. और मैंने मेरा हेरिटेज और पर्यावरण पर काम करना चालू किया था जब मैं 8 साल की थी.
Wow, that is fantastic, Arya. So
Thank you, sir.
presently you must be a student and you must be studying.
Yes.
Yes. So are you based in Ahmedabad?
आई एम बेस्ड इन अहमदाबाद एंड एक्चुअली वहाँ से ही मेरा इंस्पिरेशन शुरू हुआ जब हमारी सिटी अहमदाबाद इंस्क्राइब हुई इंडियाज फर्स्ट यूनेस्को वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज सिटी 2017 में. और तभी मैंने हेरिटेज पर मेरा इंटरेस्ट जगा था और मैंने हमारे हेरिटेज पर काम करना शुरू किया था.
Okay, that's so wonderful. You know, I know you were recently you attended a presentation in the London Parliament, but we will talk about that later. You also attended a presentation and a seminar in Paris recently, but we will talk about that later. Mostly, okay. How do you feel after receiving 2 awards in one go in UK?
Actually, I feel like I should be working more so that I feel really happy that I could get these 2 awards and they act as an inspiration for me that I should achieve more through my goals, because it not only gave me the chance to make my country, city, school and parents proud, but it also motivated me that मुझे आगे ज़्यादा बढ़ना होगा and मुझे continue करना होगा books लिखने का.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, at a tender age of 14 years old, you achieved so much, which a lot of people in their lifetime don't achieve, like 50, 60, 70 years old. But you have achieved tremendous successes in your 14 years. So we will also be, so what do you actually attribute your success to? What actually gives you the success?
That's actually a very tricky question. So I attribute all of my success to not only my parents for all of the support they have given, but I am also indebted and I'm also very thankful to my school for fully supporting my work till now. And of course, my organization UNESCO, because UNESCO was the organization that noticed my capabilities when I was 9 years old. And they started forwarding and publishing all of my books, not just on heritage, but on environment and other crucial topics also. And they started supporting my work when I was so young. So I began to connect with UNESCO when I was 9 years old, and today I'm 14 years old. So that's 5 years with UNESCO. And I'd really like to thank them.
Okay, so recently you also attended a presentation with the world famous David Beckham, who actually visited Ahmedabad and you were presented to him. And so, what do you think David Beckham as a person? What did he tell you the first thing? What did he say? What was the first thing he told you?
Actually, it was one of the best moment of my life to meet David Sir. And along with David Sir, the UNICEF chief of India,
Hmm.
Cynthia ma'am,
Hmm.
she was also there for the program. And there were 10 kids in total. And I represented the kids because I was moderating the whole event. And when I started first introducing myself, that I have written 10 books till now. So David Sir, he interrupted me and he asked me that why do I spread my message of preserving our heritage and of environment
Hmm.
through
Hmm.
the medium of writing books? Why do I not do something else? Why do I just write books?
Oh.
So at that time, I had replied that actually there are two reasons. So, firstly, I want the children of my age to read more because right now we are in the world of technology, and most people, for most of them, reading is not the first thing that comes to your mind when you are free. So, I wanted the children and the youth of my age to want to read more, and through that reading, they could realize what my awareness was on heritage and environment. And along with that, मेरी books UNESCO digital library में भी published है, and they're accessible all over the world for free.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my message in my book, it can be spread much more easier to many more people because it is there on a digital platform and anyone can read it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, and the overall event went very well, and it was a very big milestone for me. And David sir is a very humble and a very great man.
Hmm. Well, we are also proud to say that David Beckham is not our, he is like a neighbor to us because he lives in the same county as us. He lives in Essex,
Oh.
and our radio is based in Essex as well. Unfortunately, I have not met him yet, and I would like to meet him one day. But when you meet the famous people, like, recently you came over to UK to be presented two awards in the parliament.
Yeah.
So, what was your first impression that when you actually entered the House of Commons or the Parliament, the UK Parliament? What did you think of it first?
When I first entered the House of Parliament, I was like, wow, because it's
Hmm.
actually a really magnificent place,
Hmm.
and it was actually a really huge opportunity for me. I mean, मेरी जो 10वीं किताब है कमिंग टुगेदर जो मैंने पर्यावरण पर लिखी है वो वहाँ पर लॉन्च हुई एंड आई वाज वेरी एक्साइटेड एंड आई वाज वेरी थैंकफुल कि मुझे इंटरनेशनल कॉन्क्लेव 2023 के दौरान ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली मेरे वर्क को स्प्रेड करने के लिए.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. So the presentation took place in the Houses of Parliament in
जी
2023.
जी.
And so, as you say, the impression you had of the Parliament was it is a huge
Yes.
building, it's a huge, a very prestigious and very something that is you can treasure all your life. I've been to the
जी.
Parliament a few times. So, the first impression you get of the Parliament is that this parliament has actually ruled the world. For example, in India,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
people in this parliament actually dominated or actually looked at and progressed the upcoming of India. So, what did you think of that?
As an Indian, I am very proud that I got the chance to go there and spread my work on environment because जैसे ही आपने अभी आप बोले कि that parliament has dominated the whole world. So I felt very privileged to have gone there and to have presented my work there and to have met all the mayors and the parliamentarians there during the dinner that we had and during my launch. So they were the ones who launched my books, the council members and the parliamentarians.
Okay, wonderful. So when people make progress in life, and you are a very young person who's progressed tremendously, you've achieved so much in 14 years. So tell us about the teacher or the mentor who set you on to the present path.
I have actually had many mentors in my life, but there have been two main mentors that have guided me in my way. So, actually, ever since I began my journey when I was 8 years old, so first the municipal corporation and then the state government of Gujarat, they had started supporting my work because the proceeds of my work they're donated for the underprivileged cancer patients. So when I was 9 years old, I got introduced to UNESCO New Delhi. So there, Mr. Eric Falt, who's the former director now of the UNESCO in India office, he wholeheartedly he supported my work, and he was the one who forwarded and published all of my books in the UNESCO Digital Library worldwide. So that was like a really huge motivation for me that kept me going forward, because it made sure that I had a goal and I had a particular point where I had to reach every time I wrote a book. And then a year later, when I was 10 years old, so during an event, I was taking a talk on heritage through my campaign, Preservation of Cultural Heritage. And there I was introduced to Mr. Gopalji. So he's a very active environmentalist in India. So from there, he further inspired me not only to take campaigns and talks in different places on heritage, but also on environment. So that is how I started taking campaigns on sustainable living, caring for climate in like amongst the youth. So I'm really indebted to Mr. Eric Pal sir and Gopalji. So those are
Okay.
two of my most, yeah.
So how do you feel that, I mean, we are very privileged. We are indeed very, very privileged to have you on our New Sound Radio 92 FM Gujarati show. And we broadcast in not only in the UK, but we also broadcast throughout the world. And people can listen in, and there are thousands of people
Wow.
listening in all over the world,
Hmm.
in Australia, New Zealand, India, Malaysia, South Africa, East Africa, Europe, UK, and of course USA. People actually get up very early to listen to our radio. So what do you think that, I know you, not only you are privileged, but we are also privileged to have you. So what do you think the a radio like ourselves, what do you think of our radio? They're bringing in young people like yourselves to take part.
Firstly, actually, I'm very thankful that New Sound Radio gave me this opportunity so that I could connect with not only the people from UK there or people from India here, but as you said, all across borders in US, New Zealand, Australia. And I feel really special when I heard that the radio station is not only in UK or India, it's like all over the world.
It's global.
And along, it's global. And I have this one motto in my life whenever I am writing books or whenever I'm connecting with the youth, especially, that we all are one. We all should come together and we all should be united.
One.
एंड आपने अभी कहा कि आपका पूरा रेडियो स्टेशन ग्लोबल है, सो दैट एक्चुअली प्रूव्ड माय पॉइंट एंड प्रूव्ड माय मोटो राइट कि we all globally from wherever we are all across the world, we are coming together as one, and we are
Mm,
coming together to get connected through this radio station. So
mm.
that is what I feel.
Well, that is great credit to us, and credit to you
Mm.
for taking your time out to be with us. One more person I must mention is Yashi Jadeja, who is actually based
Yes.
in Jamnagar,
जी.
and her group called Atulya Varso Group in Gujarat are actually
जी.
listening in. So if you like to say a few words to Yashi, because she's a wonderful person and she's a wonderful person introducing to me wonderful people.
Actually, I'd like to greatly apologize to ma'am that I've not been able to connect with her through call. It's been my mom because I was busy in either
Yes.
schools or classes. But I've heard ma'am's story and
Mm.
I really feel really inspired. And recently, I also had an interview with Mr. Kunal of Atulya Varso. And I am in touch with the whole Atulya Varso team. And I say that I feel really special that there are many other heritage and environment warriors with me who are there to support every single work of mine, to listen to me, to read my books, and to be there for me. So thank you.
That is wonderful. Okay. You being a teenager, I would say, a 14-year-old teenager. So do you actually, I know you are concentrating so much on your books and the other things you want to achieve in your life, but do you
Hmm.
miss like a teenager, less for example, a teenager based in UK, going to parties or going to shopping or going with maybe with your parents to do shopping or visiting relatives? Do you miss all that, or do you actually do that as well?
Actually, I don't do it as I don't do it because I don't get that much time. But uh, going to parties, shopping, spending time with relatives and friends, that is how most teenagers they wish to
Mm,
connect with people around them and spend their young adulthood, and that is how they have fun. So I believe that since I love reading books and then also writing books, the way I have the most fun and whenever I am the most happy when I'm free is when I'm reading books. So it really helps me connect and become friends with the books and the characters inside the books. So
mm,
I do not feel like I'm missing out on anything
mm,
because I feel very happy that I'm able to still cope up with my studies and my writing at the same time.
mm, mm. So you also travel, as I said, you've been to UK and you recently
Yeah.
USA. So when you actually travel, obviously traveling takes time, maybe 8 hours,
Yeah.
9 hours, or whatever. So while you are traveling, do you feel that you are in a very privileged position that you can, at a tender age of 14 years, you already been to France and UK. So do you have also have ambition that, look, I want to spread my message in America or Australia or New Zealand or Africa? Do you actually feel like that?
I actually just have one message that's actually in one of the upcoming books that I'm writing right now, which is We Are One. In that, it is that wherever I'm traveling in the whole world to give presentations or to present my books on heritage or environment, I feel really privileged because I actually, unlike some people, get the chance and get the chance to pour out my feelings on heritage and environment, and that gives me the opportunity to connect with so many people. Because I believe that the best part about the work I am doing is that because when I take presentations, I connect with the youth and I socialize with them during the interactions of my campaign
Hmm.
and while I'm taking the presentation. So I believe that the best aspect that is there, even when I'm traveling outside or even when I'm in India, is that even from first grade to university level, I get to connect with youth of all age and I get to socialize with them. So I feel really privileged for being able to do that, and I feel really special that I've got this chance to actually pour out the feelings that I have and go to different parts of the world to share them with different people so that we all can connect.
Okay, wonderful. So when you actually meet with your age people for maybe for a presentation, or you actually meet while you're attending a function or anything. So what sort of feelings do you get, or what sort of message do you get from these young people?
The message that I get is that I believe that education is very important, and through education, I wish to share my feelings to these youth wherever I meet them. That not only should we focus on preserving our heritage or like protecting our environment, but we all should actually come together and unite together as one in peace and harmony. That is actually one of the ideologies of Gandhiji, that we all should come together as one. Because
Hmm.
Gandhiji has always made me like fervently believe that even like there are so many crises and crucial topics in this world that we need to focus on, but the most important of them is that within each and every person there should be peace, harmony and non-violence.
Hmm.
So that is like, before talking about heritage or environment, that is the first thing that comes to my mind, that there should be peace and harmony between every single person on this planet,
Hmm.
especially the youth actually.
Hmm. Hmm. So uh, what I'm going to ask you that later, but I've just been just this question has just come to me, so I will ask
Okay.
you now. So what are your plans for the future?
Actually, I'm still a student till now, and I'm focusing on my studies right now along with my writing. But I believe that I want to do some work related to our heritage and environment, because that is what I'm working on. So I believe I either want to become an architect or maybe like an environment engineer, so that I can like focus on the work that I've been doing till now.
Hmm. Wonderful. Okay. Uh, in your progress to achieving so many things, uh, any is is there any world leader who has actually influenced you in any way?
I believe that world leader that I would say would be Gandhiji, like I previously said,
Mhm.
because out of all the role models that I have had, Gandhiji is the role model that always has a message or an ideology to pass to me on whichever topic I'm writing, and it just inspires me because I believe that Gandhiji's work in life wants to tell something to us youth and us children.
Hmm.
Because only if we're peaceful from inside, then will we be able to tackle any other crisis. And I even wrote a book on Gandhiji that was my second book that I had written, which is A Day with Gandhi. So I truly believe he's my ultimate role model.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, we have several questions coming in, and several people want to talk to you as well. But
Yeah,
I will, instead of talking to people, they are sending me questions. So
yeah.
one of the person listening is Ajit Jetwa, who is listening in.
Okay,
Another question has come from Jagdish and Shobna, and they listen to our Gujarati program on regular basis. And he said,
okay.
"Can you please ask Arya if she would consider joining forces with Greta Thunberg to force politicians to tackle climate change as a priority?"
I would actually love to do that because we are, after all, working towards the same mission and the same message, and it would help to bring the prospect of protecting our environment to a much clearer view for everyone. And it would help for us to connect through different borders, across borders, and work on our environment through different parts of the world. So, if I get the chance, I would truly love to connect with Greta Thunberg.
Okay, that would be wonderful. Then actually we can claim some sort of credit that we introduced you on News on Radio, and that is why Gita has accepted to be a joint uh, effort to improve the world environment. But uh, Arya, uh,
Yeah.
has there been any disappointments?
Yeah, well,
I know
actually,
you're
abhi
very,
tak,
yeah,
hmm.
bolo, bolo.
अभी तक I have faced a lot of challenges and disappointments. जैसे कि कोविड के दौरान कोविड itself was a
Hmm,
quite a bit of a barrier,
hmm,
क्योंकि
hmm.
तब हमारा ऑनलाइन स्कूलिंग चालू हो गया था।
जी,
और क्योंकि मैं तो स्कूल्स और यूनिवर्सिटीज में मेरे ऑफलाइन जाकर तब प्रेजेंटेशंस लेती थी,
हुँ,
तो
हुँ,
कोविड के वक्त मेरे लिए बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो गया कनेक्ट करने के लिए स्कूल्स और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ, ताकि मैं यूथ के साथ प्रेजेंटेशन ले सकूं, क्योंकि तब तो सब कुछ ऑनलाइन था।
हुँ, हुँ, हुँ।
So I tried to take as many presentations through my campaign on heritage and environment so that I could connect the children with the culture. And तभी मैंने I turned my the whole challenge and the COVID crisis and everything. I wish to turn it into an opportunity, ताकि ये COVID time में भी even with the technology present, हमारे जो youth है that could connect with the culture, our past. So I started writing more books during that COVID time क्योंकि I was a little free. So I continued writing more books during that time. But till date, I'm still facing challenges with connecting the heritage with our youth, because like everything is so techno savvy right now.
हुँ,
But
हुँ।
still, whenever I take presentations on heritage or environment, I socialize as much as I can with them so that a little bit I can give my message to them so that they can, uh, you know, connect with me in any way.
Okay, that's wonderful. I have a lot of parents listening in as well. So
Yeah.
give credit to your mom and dad for giving you a platform, I would say, or the encouragement to do what you are doing. Have you got a special message for the parents who are listening in, how they can actually encourage their
Hmm.
young
Hmm.
youngsters to do not what you are doing, but to give them a motivation to do what they want to do?
This question is actually very important. It's tricky, but it's important.
Yes.
So actually, to the parents, I'd like to maybe say that I believe that education, it starts first at home,
Hmm.
and I wish for all of the parents to promote and educate their children on how to be for environment, on how to be environment friendly, and for our culture, how to promote our surrounding culture, because culture is not only heritage monuments, it is our intangible surrounding culture also.
Okay.
And I wish for the parents to like promote and educate their children that we are facing climate crisis, and if we are eco-friendly at home, we should be environment friendly outside also. So
Hmm. Wonderful. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, which is like, as they say, killing uh, two birds with one stone, which means that I'm going
okay,
to ask you a double-barrel question, which, like, when
okay,
your speech in UK Parliament, number one, the
yes,
coming together, uh, what actually inspired you?
to
When you
write
talked,
my book.
yeah, when you actually talked about your speech in UK Parliament, what was the focus, and your book coming together, what actually inspired you to write that?
Okay. So my speech at the British Parliament, it was about my 10th book coming together.
Hmm.
And my book coming together, it is the sequel of my previous books, Seeds of Hope and Seeds to Sow, which emphasizes on how important it is for awareness and action to happen together. Not just action and not just awareness, so that our action can be amplified, and how we can like practice sustainable living. And
Hmm.
I was inspired to write my 10th book coming together when I realized that, like, in the long road ahead, we all have to unite as one. So, why not unite as one now to, like, save our planet?
Hmm. Hmm. Wonderful. Thank you, Arya. Uh, most of my guests, I always ask this yeah, a standard question. But in your case, being a teenager, I'm also going to ask you, what is your favorite food?
I am actually, I'm actually a really big foodie. Like, I love eating food a lot. So, yeah, and actually, my most favorite food of all time is khamand. You know, the yellow khamand.
Yes, come
And
on.
directly after eating khamand, I like to have jalebi all the time. And I could eat that at any time of the day. I love them so much.
Okay.
And even in my book on intangible culture of Ahmedabad, I had emphasized on these Gujarati farsans, and I had even drawn the khamand and jalebi in my books. So yeah, I love them that much.
Okay, that's wonderful. Um, we only have few minutes. We only have 5 minutes
Yeah.
before we have to
Mm-hmm.
terminate. So, if you were the prime minister of any country, but mostly I know Modi ji is doing a wonderful work for India at the
Hmm.
moment. But if you were the prime minister, what one aspect would you change?
I'd be really privileged to become the prime minister actually. But yeah, if I were to become the prime minister of India or any country, the first aspect I would change would be involvement, I think. Because we should, I think that firstly I would involve proper education for preservation of cultural heritage and sustainable living programs in schools for children like me, so that we can gain more interest on our heritage through our heritage and culture and environment through these official programs or classes given by the schools. So if I were the prime minister, maybe I would change that a little bit in the curriculum so that is part of the official education, so that there is involvement amongst the children. So
Hmm.
I think so that's what I would do.
Okay, I'm just going to jump the gun and see, you said if I were the president, but I think we are going to predict on New Sound Radio Live that
Arey.
when you when you become the prime minister of India, uh, I hope we you give us the first interview.
I will surely if I when I
Okay. Last
yeah,
but not least, as I said, we only got another 3 minutes, but I want to
yeah,
capture as much as possible. And I'm sure that I always ask my guests who come on our show that if we request another interview, I hope you and your mom will actually authorize the interview again with us.
definitely, sir. Anytime you tell us to, because New Sound family is like I said, New Sound family is a family for us now. So,
Absolutely.
and thank you for this opportunity. I was going to say that New Sound Radio is a family, but I said New Sound family. So that pretty much covers it.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. As I said, when we are having a wonderful time, and more so talking to a wonderful dynamic person, Arya. The time flies so quick, and we feel that the time
Yeah.
is always short to ask you more things. But on behalf of the New Sound Radio, Arya, and of course your mom and dad, I would like to thank you so much for taking part in this interview. I won't call it an interview. I hate to call the word interview. I always call it a discussion. Uh, that you have participated so well and given us so much information and so much uh, a gist to our youngsters. And our youngsters range from a 10-year-old who is listening in to a 90-year-old. So our demography
Wow.
from a 10-year to a 90-year-old woman. So this is a demography of listeners on our radio, but I'm sure you have actually given a lot of encouragement to the youngsters who are also listening in. So last but not least, last message to all the New Sound Radio listeners listening all over the world.
I believe that you should follow your heart no matter what your age is, whether you're 10 years old or you're 90 years old. I believe in two things. Firstly, it's never too early to make a difference in the world. And
Mhm.
secondly, it's never too late to make a difference in the world.
Oh,
So,
wonderful.
no matter, yeah, because you should not let your age or your identity or your skin color or anything define you. You should let your ideas, you should let your beliefs, you should let your feelings and thoughts define you and lead you forward on whichever path you want to go, but
Mhm.
just follow that heart. So that is what message I would like to give overall to all of our lovely listeners today.
Okay, thank you, Arya. You're most welcome to use our media platform anytime you want us to invite you for a discussion. And thank
Yes.
you once again. Have a wonderful day and great greetings to your mom and dad as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye
everyone for listening to me today. Jai Shri
bye.
Krishna.
જય શ્રી કૃષ્ણ ટુ યુ થેન્ક યુ ઓકે આ હતા આપણા આર્યા આપણી લાડલી દીકરી ઓલ ધ વે ફ્રોમ અમદાવાદ આપણી સાથે જોડાયા હતા બહુ જ આનંદ આવ્યો અને એમ થાય કે આપણે ટાઈમ ટૂંકો છે અને જેટલું એને જે આપણે માહિતી આપી અને જેટલું ફ્લુવન્સ થી આપણને જે બધી માહિતી આપી એના માટે ઘણો ઘણો ધન્યવાદ